All right. All right, we'll call this village board meeting to order. This is number 3090. It's February 9th, 2015. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Abernathy.
Present.
Kim.
Here.
Meyer. Here. Semple.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Voss.
Okay, everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. We have the beginning here. The first thing on the agenda would be approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve the Board of Trustees regular meeting minutes from January 26th.
So moved.
15.
Second.
Motion by Abernathy, second by Kim. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Meyer. Yes. Semple.
Yes.
Sullivan.
I'm present.
Motion carries. Okay. Next, that takes us to the time of the evening when we have public commentary. Does anyone here wish to address the board? If you would, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Go get them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We'll just start over here and work our way this way. So I think, here we go.
Hi, my name's Paul Papino. I live on Clarity Pass Circle in Mundelein. I'm here to support Ray Ladwig. I would not like to see his freedom of speech rights abridged, and I think it would be a shame if he is penalized, taken off the board for speaking what most of us believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, going this way.
Hi, my name is Bill Jarrett, and I live on Southwest Garfield in Mundelein. I came here today to ask the mayor and the board to consider two requests. Both requests having to do as a response to the article in the Chicago Tribune about removing an appointee who criticized public employees. First, I would like to ask the board to reconsider putting this appointee through a hearing. In the eyes of myself and others in this community, Ray did nothing other than voice his opinion. In the letter to the Tribune, he signed only his name, not his position. Also, he stated what he saw as problems in the village and what he thought was a possible solution to those problems. If our village leadership is unable to voice their opinions publicly and are threatened with removal if they do, we will never see progress in Mundelein. In order to improve the village, everyone needs to be secure in their ability to recognize issues, make criticisms based upon those issues, and propose solutions. We may not all agree on what the real issues in town are or what the solutions to them are. However, I think we should all be able to agree that nobody in town should be punished for simply having an opinion. Secondly, and more disturbing to myself and other people in the community I talked to, was that the article mentioned that some of our trustees were contacting Ray at home and work asking for his resignation. At least when Ray voiced his opinion, he did so publicly, and he signed his name to it. He did not sneak around, politicking behind the scenes, as the article mentions that some of our trustees were doing. This seems very out of character for an organization that very proudly worked to become more open and to receive a Sunshine Award last year. I would like to ask the board to have these trustees come forward publicly and admit to contacting Ray outside of the public forum and to provide a brief public statement of their reasoning for both feeling that Ray needed to resign as well as to why they chose to make those requests outside of the public view. I believe by having this information, the people of Mundelein could make more informed decisions on the current situation involving Ray, as well as decisions involving the openness of our village officials and adjustments that may need to be made next election cycle.
Can you please spell your last name for me?
Jarrett, Jarrett.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going this way. Okay, sir.
Hi, my name is Bill Kokinis. I live in Mundelein across from the high school on Regent Drive.
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name?
Yes,
please?
it's Kokinis.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight for two reasons. First of all is to support Ray. He's got a nice business going, and it would be a shame for him to be punished for just voicing his opinion. As far as I'm concerned, in this country, you can say what you want, when you want, to whoever you want. You may face repercussions for what you say, but it shouldn't have to come to this type of thing in this type of forum. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second reason I'm here is my wife and I have lived here for 27 years, and over that period of time, we have watched this city go from being relatively economically vibrant with our businesses to now a situation where we have more vacancies than businesses. And it's very disturbing to us and many of the people that we talk to that we can't get businesses coming to this town, but everybody around us can get businesses going there. I hold everyone in this room accountable for that because it's the economic engine that drives the community. Employment, taxes, and we all know how it works. And if we don't, then we have another problem to deal with. This is something that's disappointed me and my wife. She put together a quick list here. We've got 38 businesses that have left and that have not been filled. And this is something that if anybody wants a copy, I'd be happy to give them, but it's very disheartening that we have all these open places and people drive through our town and who knows what they think, but they sure don't want to stop here. Nobody stops in this town. There's a line from a song, nobody stops in this town, the high school colors are brown. You know, I mean, it just gives you an idea of what we're dealing with here. We've got people who go through our town to go elsewhere, and we should make this a destination and not allow them to go elsewhere around us. That's all I have tonight. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Bill. Mr. Kokenis, we can't comment as, regarding the Ray Ladowicz situation. However, on the economic stuff, we've had a call for open government, concern about the economics of Mundelein, and so what I want to do is have, and I'm going to later call a meeting, a joint meeting between the Plan and Zoning Commission, the Economic and Development Commission, as well as the Village Board next Monday, 6:30 at the Police Training Room, and I'm going to give a briefing on the economics of Mundelein, and I'm going to show exactly why some of the stuff you said, sir, is just flat wrong. I'm sorry, and I'm going to show it. We're going to go into details. We'll talk about some of the problem shopping centers, and I think it'll be very informative. I'm going to be honest. I kind of concluded there's a disconnect. I'm extremely optimistic about our village, and you know why? It's because I'm in the front lines, and I'm informed. In the front lines, seeing the big picture, down in the trenches, seeing the small picture in a lot of these issues, and I'm extremely optimistic. And I think there's an uninformed negativity because it's just simply they don't know. And that's fine. But so I'm going to bridge that in an effort to do that. I want to have a meeting next, and you're all invited. We'll have public commentary after I give my briefing, PowerPoint slides. We'll get into the nitty-gritty details. But that's my view on it. Now, I can't talk about Mr. Ladowicz, but for the economics, we have a lot to share. And I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. And if you hang around, you'll meet the owner of Zach Packaging moving into town, and just gives you a little inkling of things that are happening now and things to come. So anyway, that's it. Let's move forward. Who else? Coming this way?
Hi, I'm Laura Mellon, 101 West Park Street. I'm here to give you an idea for promoting Mundelein because, like you, Mr. Mayor, I agree that there's a lot of good things going on in Mundelein. I think there are things people don't know about. I went and saw the show choir concert at the high school on Thursday, and I know somebody at the village has ordered a copy of the video, but the kids start out with a song that they take from Hairspray, and they've changed the line to be Good Morning Mundelein, and they sing it with Mundelein behind them. And I was thinking it'd be a really great idea if you were to film them in different locations around Mundelein, singing the song, and then you could kind of cut away, and it'd be a great thing to put on our website. And the other thing is that you've got these great-looking young kids, a diverse group, and it's just, I think it would be a real positive way for people who are looking into Mundelein to see that.
It's a great idea.
Okay.
It's a great idea. Thank you. Coming this, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, before my 4-year-old takes over my life. Okay, which she already has. So, anyway, why I'm here is for Ray as well, because
Excuse me,
I'm sorry, Jennifer Kerr.
Sorry, could you spell your last name?
Kerr, K-E-H-R-E-R. Okay, so I believe with my whole heart that an unfair treatment is being directed toward a person who doesn't deserve it, and that would be Ray, as well as his family. I have been in a similar situation here in this town, and I feel strongly that some of the elected officials are misusing the positions bestowed upon them by the people in this community. I know Ray personally. I know his sweet wife and his equally delightful daughter. My family and I love them very much, and we do not believe for 1 second that Ray would do anything that was directly related, that wasn't directly related to helping Mundelein be better for everyone. So I don't know where you are, Ray, but we believe in you. There are two sides to every story, though, so I've only heard Ray's, and I personally know some of you and like some of you very much, so I'm very interested in what your opinion is and what you think is the best way to resolve the differences. I know there is a public hearing on the 23rd, and it's prior to the main general meeting, and so I was wondering if anyone could say what exactly that might entail, that February 23rd meeting, if people will be able to get to speak, if it's just you and just Ray, and then the meeting immediately following that, if there's public commentary, will anything that we say have an effect on the outcome?
There would be public commentary. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to have public commentary in the middle of that hearing.
Okay.
Okay, now the order, actually, we should yet to be determined as to what slot it goes in. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we haven't yet decided the order, who speaks when and when public commentary gets in there, but there will be a spot open for public commentary. Yes.
During the
Yes.
hearing portion, and then the meeting directly following, then you will be voting, or we're not talking about it at all, or it's not, I'm not really sure how, I think we all want to know what's going to sort of happen on the 23rd.
Well, there be a motion at the end of the hearing to either concur or not concur.
Okay.
But then at the meeting itself, action might be taken one way or the other.
In the village board meeting?
Yes.
I see, okay.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay, anyone over here? Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Burke, 1321 Ainsley Court. Good evening. I'm a lifelong resident of Mundelein. I'm here tonight to voice my concern over the meeting schedule to discuss the conduct of Ray Ladwig and the possibility of his removal from the volunteer position on the village's planning commission. It is my understanding that the remarks of Mr. Ladwig submitted to the local paper making suggestions on how to draw business to the village were not very well received. I understand nobody likes criticism. However, given the village's current situation, I would sincerely hope that even if you may not agree with his suggestions or the manner in which he expressed them, you would at least be willing to explore suggestions on how we could draw more business here and grow our economic base. I always do my best to support local businesses. However, last Friday, I went to dinner in Libertyville. I couldn't find parking for a full 20 minutes and finally settled on a spot several blocks away from where I was dining. What a stark and dismal contrast that is when you compare it to Mundelein on any given Friday night. I would say our business base is stagnant, but quite frankly, I believe that's too generous of a term. I've spent 38 years calling Mundelein my home. My children are fifth-generation residents of this town, and I hope one day they will choose to raise the sixth generation here. I believe that will be more likely to happen only if we can make this a vibrant and productive town, much like our neighboring towns have. There's a bigger issue at hand. It concerns me greatly that our trustees have been given a memo instructing them not to discuss the issue with residents. I have no idea why an issue involving a member of a commission that serves the residents of this town would be kept from us. I believe we have made some real progress with the transparency and accessibility of our trustees, but I find the way this is being handled unacceptable. I could be wrong in my interpretation, but as an outsider, it sounds like the removal of Mr. Ladwig is all but a done deal. And the meeting that is scheduled where this decision will be made is nothing more than a formality. What a shame. If there is no wrongdoing on Mr. Ladwig's part other than the perceived slight of him speaking his mind regarding our lack of economic development, and he is removed from a position that he has volunteered his time to, I am nothing short of aghast. It is no secret that this town I have called home my whole life is in need of growth. We are shuttering businesses at a frightening pace, and our shopping areas are practically ghost towns. He didn't say anything that anyone that lives here or drives through has not said or thought themselves. If you do vote to remove Mr. Ladwig from his position, I assure you it will not quiet the sentiment he has expressed. You may succeed in marginalizing him in an official capacity, but I know the residents of this town with the same concerns won't be marginalized or silenced so easily. I respectfully and emphatically urge you to retain Mr. Ladwig so that he may continue to work to make Mundelein all that we know it is capable of being. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Burke, let me just address two things. First, you mentioned this, where are you? Okay, the schedule. You didn't elaborate on the schedule part of it, but I'm going to assume you're talking about the assertion that it was somehow conniving to get it so that it wouldn't be on film. Is that what you're talking about? All right, because I've heard that tossed out there, that we're trying to keep it off the village board, so, well, I think we're going to get it on tape, so it'll be just as open as the normal village board meeting, okay? So I don't know if that's where you were going with that part about the scheduling, but I think hopefully that should alleviate that. Now regarding the memo was a one-line deal in the article that didn't express exactly what the memo was. It was simply a reminder to those on the board and myself that since we are the deciders in that hearing, it would be inappropriate for us to comment. And that Mr. Ladwig should be afforded all the fairness by having us withhold judgment until all the facts were laid out. That's what it was. That was not communicated fully in the report or in the article. Okay? And so there was nothing underhanded at all about that memo. It was just simply a reminder for us to be fair and not express an opinion early without getting the facts out there. I think that's above board. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I wanted to just make that clear. Again, on the economics, please come to the meeting next Monday, 6:30. Police, that would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else tonight? Okay. All right. Then we'll close the floor. We'll move on. There's no presentations, award, or public hearings. Takes us to my mayor's report. I have several items here. Let's go right into the introduction of the new CERT team members. Gary Gunther couldn't make it tonight, so we have Lynn Dow.
Yeah.
The floor is yours to introduce the new members of the CERT team. Maybe talk a little bit about what you guys do and who they are and everything.
Okay. We have a small class. This year we had 6 people. Fortunately, we have 3 of them here. We have one in Europe right now and another one traveling for business. So, it can only take as many as we can get while they're not working. So we've added a lot of new events to our roster of what we do for the village. We have over 1,500 hours this year put in, and it's growing. We've added things like the Corn Fest. Whenever the chief has asked for additional people, we did Toys for Tots this winter. We also did a new thing that we've never tried before. We did an in-service to over 150 caregivers about emergency preparedness for their clients and themselves and their families, obviously, also, because we're always about the community, keeping yourself safe before you can make other people safe. But that was well received, and we've not tried to do a business presentation yet, and we did it, and they loved it. So we'll try some more. And we have 3 new people here, and our 3 people, come on down. Our first one here is Sherry Ferrari. And then we have Margaret Severance and Todd Cook. You guys can come on up and shake hands. Come on.
All right. That takes us to the next item here. This regards Zach Packaging. This is a firm moving into the Anatol Building in downtown Mundelein. I need a motion, if I could, to adopt a resolution approving a sublease between Holly Partners LLC and Zach Packaging LLC covering 20,823 square feet of office space at 165 North Archer Avenue in Mundelein, Illinois.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion by Semple, second by Meyer. Discussion? Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Kim? Yes. Abernathy? Yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
Yeah. Owner.
All right, before we go on, you want to come talk and,
Hi everyone, my name is Zoran Momic. I'm the president and CEO of ZAC Packaging. This is our 3rd location. We started ZAC Packaging 27 years ago. We're manufacturer of the packaging and automated equipment. We do work with the largest companies in the United States in food, pharmaceutical, and personal care. Our first location was Elk Grove Village. The second location was Arlington Heights, and we decided to move to Mundelein in October of last year. I can tell you honestly, the only mayor who visited our business after 27 years, it was Mr. Steve and John. And they welcome our business. They've been very open and honest with us, and this is the reason we decided to move one of our divisions to Mundelein. We are originally planning to have only 10 people here. We already have over 20, and then we're hoping by this time of next year we can double the space and hire at least 20 to 30 more people. Thank you.
thank you very much. Can I just brag about your business just a little bit, what you do? All right. We went and visited their place down there, and they're moving into the building just over here. And it's an engineering firm. And so when you have packaged goods at the store need to be boxed and shipped out in great quantities. And so what they do is their engineers design the machines that will take the cardboard packages from the printer and then take the product, and then you have it go through the conveyor belts and all kinds of machines that do the folding and putting it in and boxing and all that, and then they can kick out hundreds, if not thousands, of items an hour using these huge machines. And so it takes engineers to design these very complex machines. And we had a great conversation about finding talent, engineering talent, and the need, and that's kind of is a segue to the Mayor's Cup Math Challenge and recruiting kids to get into the tech fields and starting early. And we talked about the importance of getting kids as early as in high school to get involved in, particularly in packaging engineering, right? It's a very specialized field, and so we're honored to have you moving into town. Thank you very much, and much luck and great success to your business. Thank you. All right, taking us to the this is the formal meeting call for the meeting I alluded to earlier. It's a meeting call for 6:30 p.m. February 16th. This is a joint special meeting between the Planning and Zoning Commission, Village Board, Trustees and the Economic Development Commission. It'll be 6:30, February 16th, at the Police Training Room. Another few things. Mayor's Cup Math Challenge is going to be March 8th. If you know any sixth graders that go to, that are in District 120, going to any school that feeds into Mundelein High School, or if you know any Carmel students, they're invited to go to the Mayor's Cup Math Challenge, March 8th, and they need to apply and sign up through their math teacher at school. Okay, there is no website to go to, but they have to go to their math teacher, because then they get put on a team and all that. All right, so, and that's going to be, and we have the same amount of money or more raised as last year for those cash prizes. Finally, Trustee Abernathy and I visited the opening ceremonies of the Women's State Bowling Tournament that's going on now up in Round Lake and also in Mundelein on the weekends. For the next 10 weekends, the State Bowling Tournament is occurring, and Mundelein at Lakeside Lanes has the singles and doubles going on. And so we were there for the first ball that they rolled, and they had someone from each generation up to the 90s, I guess, right? 92, and there's some excellent bowlers, and they're all talking about how many 300-point games they're going to see or something like that. So some of the best bowlers from the whole state are coming here every weekend for the next 10 weeks. So we're very fortunate to have that event here going on in Mundelein. Okay, I think that wraps up my report. Moving on to trustee reports. Public Works Committee, Trustee Meyer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any motions for tonight, but I would like to bring up the recent snowfall that we had January 31st to February 1st. Mundelein received 14 inches of snow with 50-mile-per-hour winds, which were creating quite a few blizzard conditions. And there were 526.72 man-hours, both overtime and regular time, that our Public Works put in to try and keep your roads clear throughout that time period. So we'd like to thank Public Works for doing that for us. And that was a difficult job. I don't know if you wanted to contribute anything on that storm?
We're still continuing the process. At this point, we're doing the snow hauling through the downtown area. We've gotten up to about 650 truckloads at this point, Craig? 640. So we've removed 640 truckloads from the downtown area just of snow, and that's evidence in our Public Works yard right now with the several mountains we've created over there. So hopefully that'll be melted by May, but we're not holding our breath.
All right, thank you. So I don't have, unless you have anything else, I have nothing else for Public Works tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, Finance Committee, Trustee Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This evening we have one motion. I believe it's a bill to be paid separated from the main bill list because we will have an abstention, and that is a motion to approve the payment of bills to AT&T totaling $11,671.97, and I will make that motion.
Motion by Sullivan, second by Abernathy. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Abernathy? Yes. Meyer?
Abstain.
Kim?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion carries.
This evening, there's only one motion on your omnibus list, so it's not an omnibus list, but nevertheless, it is a motion to pay the bill list, totaling $579,735.08. There are two major payments to be made, one for the purchase of a truck and equipment thereon, totaling $103,582, and our periodic bill to our Central Lake County Water Agency for Lake Michigan Water, totaling $181,095. Unless anyone has a question regarding the bill list or other matters of finance, that completes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, Public Safety Committee, Trustee Semple.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's no report for public safety this evening. However, I'd like to turn the floor over to our fire chief first. Do you have any announcements or anything you'd like to make?
Real quick, I'm always talking about blood, but we actually had another blood drive this past Saturday, and thankfully the community turned out. It was amazing. We had 75 units collected, and when you had a blood drive 2 weeks prior to that with 88 units, that's remarkable. LifeSource actually selected our January 24th drive as the drive of the month for the entire Chicago area because of standing that extra drive up and the outpouring of the community. So I can't thank all of you out there in TV land watching this for all your efforts, and I see some of our donors in the room here. So it's really great to see them. Just a couple other things, the new engines in at Station 1, so again, as a reminder, if you want to stop by and see that, we'll be inspecting the new ambulance on March 4th and 5th, and that'll be arriving shortly. And then just not unlike the Ebola outbreak, we're dealing with measles now, obviously, and it's a lot more prominent. There have been some public safety cases out there, so we're actually ramping up a lot more and paying attention to this a lot more than what we actually did with Ebola, because we have no cases in Lake County yet, but we're still being very mindful of it. So that's it.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Gunther for police.
Yes, just a couple of announcements. March 11th is our Citizen Academy will start, so if anybody's interested, you can sign up online or on our Facebook page. And April 9th will be our fourth Latino Citizen Police Academy, also beginning. Again, if you're interested, please sign up. And as some of you may have seen, we just announced our Name the Canine contest. So we're excited about that. I talked to the superintendent from District 75. All of the District 75 schools will have an opportunity to submit a name for the dog, and those will be due March 6th, and then we will go through those and make an announcement on March 13th. The handler has been selected. Officer Steve Kroll was selected, and he'll begin his training on April 20th. That's it. Thank you.
Terrific, Chiefs. Any reason for a meeting call in the near future for public safety? Thank you much. Mr. Mayor, that is all.
Thank you. Next up, Community and Economic Development Committee. Trustee Voss is not present. That takes us back to Trustee Semple.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of Chairman Voss, I'd like to make a motion repealing ordinance number 13-07-39, which is a special use permit for 444 East Cortlandt Street, which is based upon the letter submitted by the property owner requesting that the special permit be dissolved.
He didn't read the motion exact, so.
I'm sorry?
Does that make a difference there?
I'll read
You summarized it well.
I'll read it here. A motion to pass an ordinance repealing ordinance number 13-07-39, granting a conditional use special use permit to Comunidad Cristiana La Viña to operate a place of worship on the property located at 444 East Cortlandt Street, Mundelein, Illinois.
Motion by Semple.
Second.
Second by Abernathy. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our second item on the agenda this evening for Community and Economic Development is concerning competition tattoo and custom cycles. With this in mind, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and finding of facts for this particular business.
Motion by Semple.
Second.
Second by Abernathy. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy? Yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item on the agenda is a motion to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendations, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Semple, second by Abernathy. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy? Yes. Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And finally, I'll make a motion to authorize staff to draft an ordinance granting a variation to Table 20.32-1 in Section 20.32.020 to allow competition tattoo and custom cycles to operate a tattoo parlor in the C2 General Commercial Zoning District at 321 Town Line Road with certain conditions.
Motion by Semple,
Second.
second by Abernathy. Discussion. Okay. No? All right. Okay, no discussion. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy? Kim?
I just have a few, is it okay?
Well, we, what do you think?
You know, Mr. Mayor?
You want to have a talk?
Mr. Mayor, the business owner's here. Let's, before we approve your business, go ahead and tell us what you're going to
Yes,
do.
sir, I would like
and-
to. Yes, sir. I just brought a few photos for the board to take a look at and everything that they can pass around and see the work that we've been doing to the building to get it back up to par. It was left in shambles with broken windows and holes that you could drive a car through, and we've kind of done some work, and I just want to show the board. With that being said, my name is Jean-Pierre Fontaine. I am 43 years young. I am originally from Orlando, Florida. I have a 23-year-old son, and I'm an expecting grandfather. I'm a family man, a brother, a father, a cousin, an uncle, and a great husband. I'm currently raising 3 other children with my wife. I have morals, values, goals, and I teach that. I moved to the Chicagoland area over 20 years ago when the housing boom was happening. I was a carpenter back then, doing well at the time. The economic took a crash, and that inspired me to become a young entrepreneur. I came from a creative background. My dad served 8 years in the Air Force and was an entrepreneur himself, and that had always inspired me. He recently just passed this year. If he could see me now, he'd be proud. I'm an award-winning artist for tattooing, airbrushing, and custom motorcycle builds. This is a one-stop art shop with an art gallery, graphic design, airbrushing, vinyl lettering, tattooing, a clothing line, and a retail store. We are your source for custom artwork. I'm certified at what I do from the county, the state, and the health department. I am a professional. I take pride in what I do. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and I'm not ashamed of what I do. The satisfaction that I get when I'm done tattooing is like no other. It's almost like giving life. I help people build confidence, self-esteem, and pride. It's the most rewarding feeling in the world when you tattoo someone that's been hurt from a passing loved one. When I've done that and they take a look at me and they're crying and they say thank you for giving me back a piece of what I have lost, it is unexplainable. I feel larger than life. There are over 21,000 shops in America with a $2.3 billion industry annually. There are 7 tattoo shows currently on primetime television. This is no longer considered an underground culture, but a breakthrough or another art medium. 1 in every 4 people in the United States have a tattoo. Just the other day I was shopping and noticed that they have tattoo Valentine's Day cards for kids to pass out in schools. I've watched several of the parents buy them for their children's classroom. How can people sell that and encourage kids to be artists and tattoo artists and not allow them in our communities? This is a state-of-the-art facility with a professional staff and quality work. We are raising the bar of quality and professionalism, and we challenge the other shops to follow suit. We are a bright, clean, and courteous facility, which with all the positive feedback that we got from the newspaper article that was run in our last meeting, we had over 650 likes. So I would say that they are ready and looking forward to our presence. I would like to also add that I will follow any recommendations or restrictions that the village, fire department, or police department has. So I pray that the great city of Mundelein and the home of the young entrepreneur grants me the use variance that I need to provide for my family and support and that I need for success. Thank you, and we are Competition Tattoo and Custom Cycles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kim? Yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Welcome to Mundelein.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for moving here.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
We
board.
greatly appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
It's a second business tonight,
Thank you.
moving into Mundelein.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, I'd like to turn the floor over to Victor Barrera. He has some updates for us.
Yes, thank you very much. Last week, we wrapped up the last public workshop leading up to the board's consideration of the sign code rewrites. The workshop was held in this room. It was very well attended. There were a lot of positive feedback that we received from that workshop. We believe that the sign code rewrite has a number of positive things that will help businesses advertise their business effectively, both on a permanent and a temporary basis. So we're very excited to be wrapping that up, and if all goes well, we anticipate that document to be in front of you next month for your formal consideration and ultimate adoption. That's one part of it. The other part of it is I'd like to provide the report on new businesses. I have 4 businesses to report, one of them being Mundelein Community Bank, their satellite branch at 169 North Lake Street. This was a redevelopment opportunity here in our downtown. As a matter of fact, they had their ribbon cutting ceremony last week, and that was very well attended. I have Tasty Snack Treats, which is located at 700 North Lake Street. It's a retailer and distributor of packaged snack goods, pastries, and cookies, which take phone orders. Top Self Cabinetry, 1216 Allenton Road, and they install custom woodwork. And lastly, Accurate Construction at 1244 Allenton Road, and they're a soundproofing contractor. That is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Any reason for a committee meeting anytime in the near future?
There is none.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I had.
Okay. All right. Communication and Marketing Committee, Trustee Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of updates from the Marketing Committee. From the Marketing Department. We're finalizing brand standards manuals with the brand standard manual with BDI consultants. As you recall, there's supposed to be a follow-up, so we're rolling the ball with that one. There's a final meeting on public works facility signage, and let's see here. There is we're assisting with marketing packets for upcoming Business Appreciation Breakfast, and for those who are unaware, all the businesses in Mundelein are encouraged to attend the Business Appreciation and Networking Breakfast on Friday, February 13th at 7:30 to 9 o'clock at the Doubletree Hotel. So let's see here. And one final thing, they're developing a marketing piece to promote the village's new grant program, also to be passed out at the business breakfast. And no motions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That's it? Okay. Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Trustee Abernathy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I do have a few things on the agenda this evening. First, Midlothian Road, I'd have a motion to adopt a resolution expressing support for a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and 2015 to 2016 Transportation Alternatives Grant Program application for the Midlothian Road multi-use paths.
Motion by Abernathy.
Second.
Second by Kim. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Trustee Sullivan.
It always tickles me when we're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars to relieve air pollution and whatever else they call it, so that 4 or 5 people can ride a bike down this path when 40 to 50 a day ride their bikes down the road next to the path. And I see that in some of the material in support of these motions, or in information material regarding the motions, that we might be required to spend tens of thousands of dollars more as matching funds, not for this motion, but for another bike path connection in the village. And I want to tell you that I think you, all of my colleagues, recognize that there are greater priorities for that amount of money in regard to road repair, in regard to economic development. And so I can't support any more bike paths because people don't ride on them. They're nice to have. If somebody would just drop them down for us, and it wouldn't create the significant amount of expenditures that it does. But it's costing a lot of money, and we have to prioritize our expenditures. And my view is that this is not a high priority, certainly not greater than some of the other expenditures that we're looking at into the future in regard to public safety facilities, public works development. So I can't support any more bike paths with Mundelein tax dollars. Sorry.
Well, how much are we talking here? This is a grant application.
Yeah.
This is a grant application.
This
How
one-
much would
this-
we have to?
This one is.
Well, there's two here,
Yeah.
A and B.
This is not the one that has
Okay.
the substantial matching, I don't think.
And there's 3 of them here, all similar, all exactly the same program. And the rules that have changed as part of the CMAQ TAP program is that in order to ultimately receive the grant, you do have to commit to the Phase 1 engineering. So Trustee Sullivan is dead on with his thought that there is a significant amount of engineering investment involved in the construction of these projects on the petitioner's behalf. So we'd have to pay for the Phase 1 engineering, which is tens of thousands of dollars typically for projects of this magnitude.
We're talking about the bike path on Midlothian. Is this the one on the east or west side of the street we're talking about?
I don't know if we've defined which side yet. Part of the connection of the bike path, the thought, we've had some discussions with IDOT as well as Lake County, and the thought is that since Lake Dot has jurisdiction over Midlothian Road from Peterson Road to Holly Street,
Yes.
then from Holly Street to 6083 is IDOT. That Midlothian Road is an IDOT jurisdiction. And there's been preliminary discussions with Lake Dot to see if they would take over jurisdiction from the state. And there's been discussions with the state to see if they'd be willing to give up jurisdiction. And it ties into this complete streets that IDOT has. As they're designing, going through the Phase 1 on 6083, they're required as part of this complete streets program that they have to allow for a multi-use path adjacent to and in their right-of-way along the state highway. So eventually, it'd be nice if Lake Dot would take over jurisdiction and pay for that bike path on Midlothian Road. It would tie into a future bike path, and these are years down the road. This is not anything that's going to occur suddenly, but in the 5 to 10 year range on 6083, probably closer to the 10-year. But the planning begins now on it, so, but that's that project, the bike path. And then I think the next one is the 176 and that we've applied for in the past.
Right.
But this is, we have a comprehensive plan. Comprehensive plan designates, the certain bike paths in the community. And, so it's, I think Trustee Sullivan's right. I mean, there's lots of ways to spend our money. There's more ways to spend it than we have money for. So, but it's it's really a board decision on what they want to do with it, but it's all of what makes, the economic development in the community. There's a lot that goes into that. When you talk about what makes a community desirable, those things are varied. People want bike paths. I think Trustee Sullivan's right. You get the professional riders that are riding on the street, and you get the moms and the strollers and the kids on the bike path.
Well, right now on the east side, there's nothing for that, a big segment,
Correct.
So this would certainly serve as both a sidewalk and a bike path.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
of course, we've talked about the east side. This is from Cortland to 6083.
This application is contemplating Holly to 6083. just for the full scope of the actual path. But what we explored last fall was exactly that, Cortland to
Yeah,
63.
we decided, we were talking about the east side having such topographical difficulties, wetlands, all this regulations in regard to that issue creates such huge expense, not just in construction, but in engineering. There is sidewalk from Cortland on the west side down to Apple Country, the subdivision there. You know, and sidewalks are great for the strollers and the tricycles and the folks who are not semi or professional bicycle riders. But when we figure out a way to get everybody on a bike path and off the road, then I will be able to support this. But until then, and I think everybody observes the same thing I do, the great majority of people on bicycles ride on the vehicular right-of-way. They risk their life and their limb, and in some instances will challenge you if you're in a car. Dare you to come within a half a car length of them. And, you know, that's fine if you see them. But it's a risk of life and limb, and creating bike paths off that right-of-way, forcing people to ride bikes without the room to ride bikes, it's just never made any sense. And this may be the last chance I have to say that, but I'm not, I'm not passing it up. All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Trustee Kim. Oh, Trustee Kim.
Okay, thank you. To clarify, this is the Midlothian from Hawley down to 6083, where we were talking about a sidewalk once, but then we tabled that, and now it's, we're applying for a grant for a bike path.
We were always talking about a multi-use path.
Okay.
We were never referring to a sidewalk.
Okay. Being someone who actually lives over there, I know that it does go up to where Trustee Sullivan says, but then there's a long stretch of nothing, and then there's a sidewalk across the street a couple blocks down. So I've actually had to push a stroller on the gravel rocks and then cross the street to gravel rocks until I get to the sidewalk to go to like Walgreens over there. I see this as something that I think if we apply for the grant, we could get some money to help us with it, but if we don't apply for the grant, we will probably have to foot the entire thing ourselves later when it becomes a thing. I'm going to plan for the 20-year forward and vote yes on this one. So, sorry.
Anyone else? Trustee Meyer.
Yeah, it's part of your walkability score also that's incorporated into that when you're selling a home, and that the different bike paths, your sidewalks, your accessibility. When you're looking at the big picture, it's something that is worth doing in the ultimate long run, and does improve your real estate value on your walkability score. So it's one of many factors.
Anyone else? Okay. Clerk, please take the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Motion carries. Did you do A or B?
I think I'm still on A.
You're on one.
1-1.
That takes us to,
1-2.
okay, very good.
Now I have a motion to authorize the execution and submission of a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and the 2015-2016 Transportation Alternatives Grant Program application for the Midlothian Road multi-use path between Hawley Street and 6083.
Motion by Abernathy.
Second?
Second by Kim. Discussion. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Nope.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the utility easement agreement with Roadster Shop. I have a motion to adopt a resolution approving an exclusive easement agreement for utility facilities between the Village of Mundelein and 275 North Grove Building Corp. Incorporated, and authorize the mayor and clerk's signatures on the agreement.
Motion by Abernathy,
Second.
second by Meyer. Any discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Alrighty, next, back to bike paths. This one now, the Maple Avenue multi-use path. Okay, some of these are tongue twisters. A motion to adopt a resolution expressing support for a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and 2015-2016 transportation alternatives grant program application for the Maple Avenue, Illinois Route 176 multi-use path.
Second.
Motion by Abernathy, second by
Meyer.
trustee Meyer. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
No.
Semple?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And a motion to authorize the execution and submission of a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and a 2015-2016 transportation alternatives grant program application for the Maple Avenue, Illinois Route 176 multi-use path between Midlothian Road and Lake Street, US Route 45.
Second.
Motion by Abernathy, second by
Meyer.
Meyer. Light went off. Okay. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Sullivan?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, next and last, a McKinley Avenue pedestrian bridge. So we have a motion to adopt a resolution expressing support for a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and 2015-2016 transportation alternatives grant program application for the McKinley Avenue, the Metra pedestrian bridge.
Motion by Abernathy.
Second. By Kim.
Second by Kim. Discussion?
Yes. Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
trustee Sullivan.
This is known now as the McKinley Avenue. Is this the name we're giving it?
No, the name,
A geographic limitation?
no, it's in the general area.
All right, thank you. The general area. Again, all right, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna vote, I'm gonna approve this one under the assumption that we're looking to get grant money. But this is one like the bike paths give trustee Sullivan heartburn. This is the one that gives me heartburn because of the potential cost of this pedestrian walkway, which would be right over here. And now with the railways wanting to do double stack cars, the height of that pedestrian bridge is going to have to be extremely high. And the higher it goes, the longer, the wider it has to go too. So we may end up having a walkway that starts almost at the street out front here and goes all the way over to McKinley to allow for the accessibility for handicapped individuals with the 30-degree incline. And it could be literally tens of millions of dollars for this kind of an improvement. So I'm hoping we can get grant money to pay for it, because if it comes time for us shelling out tens of millions to help build it, it may not get my support.
We designed it with an elevator, right?
Okay. Which is expensive too.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, trustee Sullivan.
Don't we have some substantial grant money devoted to this project already?
Yeah, we were successful in obtaining $2 million from the ICC grant. I think it's the Grade Crossing Safety Fund program. And so they've allocated $2 million in, I believe, 2018. And so our goal is to find, right now, the engineer's estimate, based on some preliminary engineering and approvals from CN and also Metra, is that the cost will be some number around $4 million. And so our goal is to try and get, the vast majority of this project covered by grants. So that's where we're at today.
Anyone else? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, last but not least, a motion to authorize the execution and submission of a 2016-2020 congestion mitigation and air quality improvement and 2015-2016 transportation alternatives grant program application for the McKinley Avenue Metra pedestrian bridge.
Second the motion.
Motion by Abernathy, second by Semple. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, so the motions are done. Transportation infrastructure, Mr. Boucher, do we have anything to go over?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you very much. I see Mr. Shaw is here. I want to thank you for doing such a fine job on the roads with this last snowstorm. Okay, thank you.
Done? Okay. Very good. That takes us to other reports. We have a utility box art committee. There's a motion here, and I understand there's a presentation. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there is a report. This is a one-year committee. That was kind of a trial basis to see how it goes. So if we could have Mr. Dakota Norton from the committee.
Yeah, so for the first year, we had a pilot program for the Utility Box Art Committee. We chose 3 boxes all along Seymour, and we had them painted up right before the 4th of July. So it was really great for us. People were going around the downtown, they could see the boxes. We think that the project has gone really well in the first year. We put out a survey looking for village feedback, and we had roughly 90% positive feedback on all the questions. I think did you see the questions? And that should have been in the packet. But we had questions like, have you seen the boxes? Do you feel they enhance the community? Do you feel we should expand the program? Do you feel they portray a positive image? And will visitors enjoy the artwork and feel our town is welcoming? So our recommendation moving forward is to expand the program to a permanent committee. There's 7 more boxes in the downtown that we would like to paint this year with new applicants, of course. And have it done earlier would be another goal of ours this year.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
I have a couple of questions. One of the questions I have, I did notice that there were 111 responses to your goal out of 32,000 residents. So one would lead me to believe that's not even a 1% return of respondees. I'm just...
Right.
Okay, so we had 111 respond to that. So I like the boxes. I think they look wonderful. I love them. I was all for them when we started. I think 10's a bit much. I'd like to see maybe 3 more done. Let's not go from 3 to, let's go 3 and then maybe do 3 more. I think would be a great, we got those and then let's do a few more. I think that might be a better way to utilize, let's not leaps and bounds, but I think a few more would be a good idea.
Okay, yeah, if that's how the board feels.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my, I don't know, I think 10's, I saw the map where they would be, and they're like all right on top of each other, so I think it would be good to maybe spread it out and kind of have a few, have maybe 6 throughout town, which it might be nice.
Just to answer that, also, this year we wanted to expand it also not only to 3 artists, but maybe like schools.
Yeah.
And so that's why the number was more than 3. Because it was,
Well, but the original 3 are going to be redone, correct?
no, those remain. Those three remain.
Well, I still think, I mean, maybe just do a few more and then maybe see what happens. I think that's a lot. So, I don't care.
Anyone else? Yes.
I'm fine with the number proposed in the motion.
Well, there's not a motion.
Well, I know, but the number proposed in the report for the motion, I'm fine with the numbers.
Okay. So we're going to go, the proposal is to go from 3 to 10 with an additional 7. So would you get 7 new artists?
Correct.
That's what you would, that's the intent? Okay.
Some of them being schools or businesses. I think, I want to say that the police department asked if they could apply, and I said, well, there's an application, and you'd have to apply like everyone else, and so it seemed that it was a really popular program. One thing to keep in mind, though, is some of the boxes are only this big. Like the one in front of Greg's Old Town Tap, it literally is only this big. So it's not the big IDOT ones that you see on the corners. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're worried about the size, most of them are like this.
Greg will let
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would be concerned about.
Pushed it off. Thank you. I wouldn't be concerned about the number in the survey. You know, you get a good idea. It's an overwhelmingly positive response. It's not likely that response would vary if you had 1,000 or 2,000. Yeah. And I think if you have people interested in decorating these boxes, that they certainly should be allowed to, and as part of the spirit of come on downtown and be active. Oh. As many as, God, you can always paint over it if you don't like it, you know.
Can I also add too, that was a maximum number, so I mean, it may not be that we end up using them all. That was just a figure.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, weigh in. It's totally fine. I mean, you know, as long as they've got rules for the artwork, and as long as it's not the Holly and Dakota art exhibit that you guys are doing them all personally, that there's truly, you know, the community's decorating these things and they're non-political, have at it. They look nice. They're not, you know, it's not degrading to the town at all, and they look fine, you know. I'm into picking my battles right now, and this is just great.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next thing. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okey dokey.
Okay,
Clerk.
I should make the
You need
motion.
to make a motion. There you go.
So I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to prepare an ordinance amending ordinance 14-05-18.
Second.
Motion by Kim, second by Abernathy. Further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Kim?
Yes?
Abernathy? Yes. Semple?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Okay. That was, let's see. Make sure. Those other reports, okay. We move on to scheduled business. Omnibus vote items, there's one item, no use to ask if someone wants to pull it off, so we'll just vote on this. I need a motion to approve the payment of bills as indicated in the governing body report for the period between January 27th, 2015 and ending February 9th, 2015 in the amount of $579,735.08.
So moved.
Motion by Sullivan.
Second.
Second by Abernathy. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Sorry, yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries. This takes us to the village staff reports. Village Administrator, Mr. Lebedo.
I just had one item. Today you should have received in your email box the budget memo and the unvarnished version of department's request for the upcoming budget. And so if there's anything more that you need there, let us know. It's an email version, so if you need copies of that, just let us know and we'll provide copies. But we're in full budget mode, and we'll be going through those in the coming month, and I think we've scheduled our first meeting March 30th to begin those budget discussions.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. Village Attorney, Mr. Marino?
I have no report, but I understand there will be need for an executive session, but
Yes.
no action afterwards.
Correct. There will be an executive session with no action afterwards. Very good. Village Clerk?
No report.
No report tonight. Okay, and that takes us to then the executive session. So, yes?
Other bill, okay, we're going to executive session, all right.
Other, should we bring it up now? Yeah, well, let's move item 8 up to now before the executive session. So other business, does any other trustee have other business they wish to bring up at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it. I know that if everyone's like me, they'd like to get out of here after the executive session is over. For the last year, I've been on a bit of a search for an explanation from North Shore Gas as to why their charge for delivery of gas, as well as their charge for the actual therms of gas, the product, is substantially higher than other public utility gas companies, deliverers, and for gas. And I really haven't been able to get a satisfactory answer, other than at one time, after I waited for months and called them repeatedly, I was told that, well, that's just our expense for that. And that if I was patient, as their process of purchasing gas went through an evolution or a cycle, that I would notice more of a parity in my gas bills, whether it's with North Shore Gas or other gas companies. Well, this winter, I've noticed even a greater disparity between the charges of North Shore Gas, who I think supplies the majority of Mundelein homes and businesses with natural gas. I've seen a greater disparity between their price for delivery as well as the gas than with other companies like Nicor. And so the difference is so great. And it bothers me as a customer of both Nicor and North Shore Gas in regard to my North Shore Gas bill. But it really concerns me in that our constituents are paying these, what I think are unusually high amounts for natural gas in Mundelein, those who are customers of North Shore Gas. And so I'm looking for suggestions, perhaps from staff, in regard to how we might pursue a complete explanation of this disparity in prices. There are both public regulatory agencies in the state of Illinois, as well as private agencies that attempt to deal with unreasonable increases or current charges for everything from telephone to electric service to natural gas supply. And I've contacted those agencies, and I'm not happy with what they're telling me either. They don't seem interested. So I would like to provide you an example with actual bills that I can bring, perhaps to Mr. Lebedo, and you and he might decide whether you believe it's worthwhile in the interest of our constituents to seek a better explanation from North Shore Gas in regard to what I consider unreasonable differences in their price for both service and for product.
Let's have a meeting.
Yeah, we'd be glad to look at it, and North Shore does supply a good part of the community. And, I suspect that their it's pure speculation that, they're buying contracts just like everybody else is buying contracts. And if you remember, similar situation with Commonwealth Edison, they had bought contracts for the purchase of electricity that were out into the future, and they got locked into some high prices when the pricing dropped, and that's why it was advantageous to go to somebody else. But that's now corrected itself. But we have our government liaison, if you will. We can talk to them and try and get a more thorough explanation on that. It'd be helpful if you had some examples.
Well, sure, that's what I will do. I will put my little packet together, and you can see the differences. They are substantial. I'm not talking about a few percentage points.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's schedule it up. Yep. Anything else? Any other business? Okay. All right, then let's move on to the executive session. I need a motion to recess into executive session to discuss, let me get this right, personnel pursuant to 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C1, and also land acquisition pursuant to 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C5. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Semple.
Second by
Second by Kim. Discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Abernathy? Meyer?
Yes.
Very good. Let's, we'll go into the other room and convene there in about 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for attending. See you later.